everybody. So we're back and today we're going to talk about lesson 6. So yesterday we sort of introduced the idea of tiling a shape in order to find the area. So that's when we drew the lines up and down, kind of like we were making an array. So today we're going to build on that and talk a little bit more about area, and we're going to look at the tiling method of figuring out area, but also the other way that we can do it, and it's going to tie into something we talked about yesterday. So in your book, you need to be on page 785, okay? And let's look at example number 1. It says a park manager, actually let me do this. There we go. A park manager is building a small rectangular playground. It will be 10 meters by 7 meters. Its area will be covered with shredded tires. What is the area of the playground that will be covered with shredded tires? Okay, so step 1 would be to draw a rectangle, okay? If we didn't have this picture here, they kind of gave it to us already. But if we didn't have that picture, we would draw a rectangle, okay? And then we would tile it, okay? They said it's 10 meters, that's always my length, by 7 meters, that's always my width. So if I wanted to have 10 columns, how many lines would I draw? 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then if I wanted 7 rows, I would draw 6 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? That was pretty sloppy. We want to look at this picture. Okay, so then once it has been tiled, we can then figure out the area. So I can count the unit squares. And remember, these are in groups of 10, so I could say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 to figure that out. Or you could count them all one by one if you wanted to. Okay, so that's our first way of figuring out the area. That's the way that we really focused on yesterday. We were given a shape, a rectangle. We were given the dimensions, 10 meters by 7 meters, and then we tiled it and counted. That's method 1. Method number 2 is really part of the reason why I've been harping on learning those multiplication facts. Because if you know your multiplication facts, you're never going to need to tile a shape ever, okay? So I have 2 numbers, 10 and 7, okay? And it says multiply the side lengths. So in order to figure out the area, all I would need to do is multiply length times width, which is 10 times 7, and that gives me 70. Okay, so area is measured in square units, and these you can see are meters. So that means that our area is 70 square meters, okay? Either way is okay. We're gonna practice both ways so that you're comfortable with both of them, but learning your multiplication facts and knowing the formula is definitely easier, okay? So let's take a look down below. Okay, so we figured out, we counted them and we multiplied, our answers were the same, and it tells me the area of the playground is 70 square meters, okay? And then it says you can check by using repeated addition to count the number of squares in each row, okay? So this one has 10, this has 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, okay? And if I added all of those up, it would still give me 70, okay? So those are the 2 ways that we're gonna practice today to figure out area. Tiling the shape or multiplying the side lengths, okay? So go ahead and turn to page 786, okay? And before we do another example, I wanna talk about a formula, okay? A formula is actually an equation that shows the relationship between 2 or more things. So a formula is sort of like a plan for you to figure out the answer, okay? A formula uses letters to represent the quantities. So, ooh, you guys are so far into math now that we're putting letters into it. And you can use a formula to find the area of a rectangle, okay? So anytime that you want to find the area of a rectangle, A means area. Then it says L times W. Okay, so that means length times width gives you the area. So if I put a 3 for the length and a 2 for the width, in order to figure out the area of that, I would do 3 times 2. And that's all a formula is it tells me what numbers to plug in. Okay? All right, let's now look at example 2. It says find the area of the rectangle. Replace each symbol with its value. Okay? So first we would use the area formula, which is length times width. Okay, then I'm going to plug the numbers in. What's the length of my shape? 9 times width, which is 5. So that means that my problem would be 9 times 5. To figure out the area, I would multiply those two numbers, and then my answer is 45. Okay, see, do you hear why it's so important to learn these multiplication facts? All right, so area is measured in square units, and in this case it's feet. So that means the area of this rectangle is 45 square feet, okay? So let's try one more before we move on. All right. Let's say that I have a rectangle right here, okay? My length is 6, okay? Let's do 6 inches. And my width is 4 inches. What would I do without tiling to figure out the area? Right, I could use my formula. So I could do length times width equals my area. Do you know what 6 times 4 is? Yeah, it's 24, which means that the area of that shape would be 24 square inches. If you aren't sure of your multiplication facts, you can stick to tiling. Watch how I would tile this. 6 columns means I would draw 5 lines. Okay, 4 rows means I would draw 3 lines. Okay, and then I could just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on until you got to 24. Okay, so I want you to know and understand both ways, but you can use the method that makes the most sense to you to do your practice today.